Hello everyone. Today I would like to tell you about injuries and urgent hospitalizations in wrestling. Wrestlers get injured quite often. Moreover, not all incredibly experienced performers are able to avoid various damages. In some cases, regular injuries to a wrestler can easily deprive him of promotion and favor from management. Most often, injuries by a wrestler are not too serious. For example, it is quite common to find news that one or another performer performed with an injury. But there are also extremely sad cases when an error during a performance can lead to catastrophic consequences. In this video, we will talk about cases where wrestlers were so seriously injured that they could not do without urgent hospitalization. I recommend not watching this video for the faint of heart. Before starting, I want to ask you to subscribe to the channel for those who are not subscribed and like it. Well, we're starting. The legendary David Arquette, who was once the World Heavyweight Champion in WCW, appeared on an indie show not so long ago. In 2018, he held a death match. It was a fight where almost all the dangerous attributes that are in professional wrestling were used. David did not expect that the death match could cause such heavy damage, and he realized this when, after this fight, he needed to urgently go to the hospital to make sure that his vital signs were stable. Fortunately, he was not seriously injured but suffered multiple injuries. After this fight, the wrestler announced that he would no longer participate in this type of match. At the annual PPV Extreme Rules, which received the presentation of the horror show, Braun Strowman fought Bray Wyatt in the Battle of the Swamp. It was a cinematic-style match familiar to that time. However, Braun Strowman told an interesting detail of that very fight. The wrestler noted that during the match he lost consciousness from dehydration. Moreover, he began to have terrible seizures. Unfortunately, there are no details about what caused this reaction of the body. He noted that he was urgently sent to the hospital. Fortunately, the situation turned out to be not too serious, and soon Strowman continued to perform in matches. For The Undertaker, the 30th WrestleMania turned out to be the most important in his career, since it was on it that he interrupted his legendary streak of 21 victories. However, for the wrestler himself, that evening was also remembered for an unpleasant injury. Of course, you can't fool age, and it's quite dangerous to hold grueling matches even in wrestling at that age. In the match against Brock Lesnar, The Undertaker suffered a concussion. Naturally, the legendary Undertaker, as a true professional, fully worked out the match and the segment after the fight. However, immediately after all this, he was rushed to the nearest hospital where he was provided with emergency care. As we all know, everything ended on a positive note, but this case seriously affected The Undertaker mentally. The legendary wrestler did not feel confident before the next matches. As he said himself, Triple H helped him in rehabilitation from this psychological problem. Many people remember the toughest match in the 2001 King of the Ring tournament between Kurt Angle and Shane McMahon. During a recent social media activity, the Olympic gold medal winner revealed that a lot went wrong that evening. Kurt noted that during that match he had to throw his opponent through the so-called fake sugar glass, but in fact, it turned out to be plexiglass, which has great strength. As a result, when the first throw failed to break the glass, Angle repeated the technique, which caused Shane to be severely injured. According to Kurt, after the match, McMahon received more than 50 stitches. Both performers suffered numerous injuries, which is why they spent the rest of the day in the hospital. Angle admitted that it was the most brutal match of his career. In 2015, at WrestleCade, Matt Hardy defended the championship of the same name in a match against Jeff Jarrett. Many experts point out that it was probably the most brutal match, at least in Matt's career. Hardy bled heavily throughout the match. There was a feeling that he actually had a colossal and serious blood loss. For the same reason, he was urgently hospitalized after the match. Then wrestler the night under observation, and he actually might have needed a blood transfusion, but his vital signs stabilized. In early 2021, on a special edition of the NXT New Year's Evil show, Finn Balor defends his NXT title in a match against Kyle O'Reilly. Those who watched this fight know perfectly well that it was quite a cruel sight. And, of course, all this did not go without consequences. The most interesting thing is that immediately after the fight, both wrestlers were rushed to the hospital. Kyle O'Reilly had an X-ray of his jaw, and Finn Balor had his arm checked. Fortunately, the damage was not too serious, and the performers played matches again at the upcoming shows. This is not the first time Finn Balor has been sent to the hospital after a match. The first time was in 2016 after SummerSlam, when the wrestler injured his shoulder, which caused him to give up his World Championship. Probably the most famous and terrible incident occurred at the Armageddon show in 2006, during the ladder match of Joey Mercury and John Morrison against the Hardy brothers. Due to an error in the execution of the spot, the ladder literally drove into Mercury's face. At the same moment, blood simply started gushing out of the wrestler's face. The sight was actually terrifying. As it became known after this incident, Joey suffered a broken nose, several facial cuts, and internal bleeding from the nose and eyes was added to the usual bleeding. Mercury was rushed to a nearby hospital. He went straight to the intensive care unit, where doctors successfully stabilized his condition. It is worth noting the fact that such an accident, by and large, could lead to even more dangerous consequences. In any case, the above incident showed that wrestling can be not only dangerous to health, but also practically deadly, under certain circumstances, of course. Thank you for watching this video to the end. Like and subscribe to the channel. Write what you think about the injury risk in wrestling in the comments. It will be interesting for me to read. Good luck to all and see you soon. Bye.